Hi, welcome to our math lesson. Today we are going to add decimals. So the focus for today's lesson is to learn how to add decimal numbers. There are some vocabulary I want you to take note of. The word itself, add. Adding is just bringing two or more numbers together to make a new total. And there are some synonyms we use for add. Words like plus, total, increase. Now, regrouping. This is just describing the process of changing groups of ones into tens, so your addition and subtraction can be easier. And columns. Column is just stacking up numbers vertically, so the digits line up. A decimal is a symbol, normally just a full stop or a point, that is used to separate the integer part from the fractional part. So our learning objective for today is to add decimal numbers using column addition. And there are three success criteria I want you to use. First is that you can stack up the decimal numbers on top of each other. Second, that you can also align the decimal point in the column. This is an important one, that's why I underline it. Align the decimal point in the column. And third, that you can even add starting from right to left, regrouping if necessary. So how do we go about adding these two decimal numbers? 26.4 add 8.31. My first step is to stack up the decimal numbers so the decimal points are directly over each other. And you can see I'm stacking up, but the decimal point is my reference point. They must be directly over each other. Second, in stacking them with the decimal point, I can see that the tenths are aligned. The hundredth, there's no hundredth here, but if they were, they'll be aligned. The units are aligned and the tens are aligned. Now I'm ready to draw my line underneath and do my addition. And also here you can see I've just put a placeholder so that it doesn't confuse me. So I can now add 0 add 1 is 1. 4 add 3 is 7. Now I'm crossing my decimal, so I must put a decimal here as well before I add the units. 1 add 8 is a 9, and 2 add 0 is a 2. So my answer is 29.71. Now what I want you to do is to pause the video and add these decimals. We'll look at the answers in the next slide. How did you do? Now the first is to stack up the decimal numbers so the decimal points are aligned. That means it's my reference mark, and you can see my decimal point is here, 5.9 and 15.87. Now doing that, I can see my units are aligned. My 10, there's no tens in the first number. My tenths are also aligned, and my hundredths are aligned. So just not to confuse me, I'll put a 0 in this column so that I can add it to the 7. So 0 add 7 is a 7. 9 add 8 is 17. I can write the 7 and carry the 1 over. Now I'm crossing the decimal point, so I must put a decimal point here. Then I can add the units. 1 add 5 add 6. Sorry, 1 add 5 add 5 is 11. So I put my 1 carry 1, which I'm adding to this to make it 2. So my answer is actually 21.77. What I now want you to do is to pause the video and go and do the work. Now you will have the mild, the medium, and then the hot. Now with these, the answers are there. Please don't look at the answers before doing the work. Do the work first and look at the answers next. Now what I want you to do is look at one of the questions that you really did well at. You got the answer correct. Call a guardian or a sibling and show them the steps you used to get the correct answer. Just as a reflection, were you able to stack up the decimal numbers on top of each other? Did you make sure that you aligned the decimal point in the column? And when you added, were you able to regroup it when necessary? If you were able to do all that, well done. You can now add decimal numbers using column addition.